Welcome to 5 Round MMA podcast, episode number 3. I want to say hi to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the last 2 episodes. We have an action-packed episode today. We're going to go over what happened last night. Alex, latest news?
God, latest news. Grandma has a picture of Nate Diaz up right now. But anyways, it's part of the biggest news of the week so far, other than the UFC on Fox 5 card, is that GSP's next opponent is actually named, and it's actually none other than Nick Diaz, who is suspended currently, I believe, for
smoking weed.
Smoking that ganj, man. You know how it goes. I guess supposedly GSP actually asked for this fight as opposed to Anderson Silva, right?
He didn't want the Anderson Silva fight. Come on now, he's French-Canadian. Let's not forget. He asked for Nick Diaz by name. Nick Diaz already campaigned that he wanted either GSP or he wanted Anderson Silva, or he wasn't really going to take any other fight.
And this is the same Nick Diaz who lost his last fight to Carlos Condit, who last fight before that, he beat BJ Penn, who's obviously now on the decline. So you can say, who's his last opponent to even warrant a title shot at all?
And I don't even think this is the biggest news, because the biggest news is Johny Hendricks. Now, where does he stand?
Johny Hendricks, who decisively won a number 1 contenders match, right?
Declared by Dana
White, a number 1 contender match between him and Martin the Hitman Catman. And he won decisively by knockout, and yet he is playing second fiddle to Nick Diaz, who's currently out suspended and not even deserving of a title shot.
No, and you're completely right. Johny Hendricks, not only this match, I mean, how many knockouts did he get before that?
I mean, and this is a guy who's basically going by the old way, the right way of going in, fighting whoever's telling him to fight. He fights them. He knocks them out and doesn't say a word. And yet he's promised a title shot. Well, I guess, I don't know if he's really promised, but he said number contender match. You would think you win that, you get a title shot, correct?
What pissed me off even more is John Fitch, who didn't lose for 3 years after losing to GSP. 3 years he went on a rant, and John Hendricks blew his lights out. I
mean, nowadays, all you have to do is just call somebody out, and you get, oh, this guy here, man, he knows what's up. This guy's a good fighter. Look at him calling out everybody out. It's ridiculous. How do you go about winning the UFC without a personality nowadays?
Yeah.
Pay-per-view buys?
Well, yeah, it's all a numbers game now. That's what it seems like. But, again, Dana White is to blame. He's trying to do, 2 fights a month, when before it was 1 fight every month?
Yeah, but you don't think, Johny Hendricks would become a star after he faces GSP? I mean, the whole point is to build up stars, not recycle old hashes like Nick Diaz from the past. That's all he is.
They both talk smack. That's the problem. Chael Sonnen talks smack. Nick Diaz talks smack. People love hearing smack.
I mean, this is a guy. Johny Hendricks is like the working man's MMA fan, really. You can't. He does everything right, and he's just getting screwed over. It's just ridiculous, I think.
Yep.
Anyways, all right, we're gonna go. Coming up, we got the reaction and reviews for the UFC on Fox 5, and stick around, guys. We'll be right back.
5 Round MMA is brought to you by True Athlete Training Systems. Check out all the info you need at trueathletes.com. Make sure to like us on Facebook under 5 Round MMA and follow us on Twitter at 5 Round MMA. And always check out the website, 5roundmma.com.
All right, we're back now. Now with reaction and reviews of UFC on Fox 5. I guess, Albert, you made it a point last week to highlight the undercard. And in your eyes, did it deliver?
Oh, did it deliver? Not to call myself a genius, but I'm kind of am.
But he just called himself a genius, everybody.
Just like I said, watch out for Mike Eason and Trujillo. Trujillo, oh my gosh, this guy is no joke. He's at 150. He's in the 155 division. Vicious. I mean, I have never seen someone do a body punch, body knee. Oh, it was amazing. That's one guy to look out for. The Mike Eason fight, he lost, but it was such a back and forth fight. And it was in the bantamweight division, and you need people in the bantamweight division right now, especially.
Yeah, especially with Dominic Cruz being out another year, I think.
And I think they showed that there's 2 potential fighters here to be easily in the top 4. And also, real quick before we get to the main card, Scott Jorgensen. Wow, Wow, he was
back from the dead almost, right?
Yeah,
0-2.
He was about to get cut.
This guy was on the verge of a title shot a couple months ago, right?
Yep. At the end of the first round, choked John Albert out. It was amazing.
Good performance by Scott Jorgensen.
Also, Nam Pham, guys ass beat.
Who was that? Nam Pham? Was he like on UFC Ultimate Fighter, right?
For all the Asian American fans, I'm sorry, but Dennis Silver put the ass whooping on.
I got Dennis Silver still going pretty strong.
Dude,
huh?
he looks like he's 50, but he's fine like he's 30.
Yeah. It's like a drop down to featherweight really helped Dennis Silver. I think
yeah,
it's kind of he's on the undercard now, but I think it gets a couple good fights going. He's back up there. He's a good fighter.
He literally picked the best time to drop to 145 because if rumors are correct, after the Frank Yeager fight, Jose Aldo is going to move up to 155, join that class.
It's wide open, right?
And it's going wide open. And Dennis Silver looks good in that weight class. He has superhuman strength in that weight class.
Yeah, I mean you can't really go wrong with a loss to Cowboy Cerrone. I mean that guy's a top fighter. So
yeah. Well, let's get on to the main card here. I might fall asleep on this first one.
Fall asleep? It was a knockout. What are you talking about?
Mike Brown defeats Mike Swick by KO in the second round. Wow, big whoop-de-doo. I wish this was on Facebook.
So you don't see that? You don't see that as a big win for Mike or Matt Brown? Sorry.
Yeah, it feels like 5 years ago. I guess I would care. I mean, who is he going to get next? Dan Hardy? I'm surprised Dan Hardy hasn't called down Mike Brown yet.
No, because
it's because he came off of a win.
Because Matt Brown knocked somebody out. So how it goes with Dan Hardy is you have to lose 2 in a row, and then he'll call you out.
Yeah, that's right.
Also,
Mike Swick, watch out. Dan Hardy's going to call you out.
Yeah, Mike Swick, you better watch out because I think Dan Hardy has your number. He's going to call it pretty soon.
All right. Enough with this boring talk. Let's get to a real one right here. Rory McDonald versus BJ Penn. What did I say?
What did you say? That
Rory McDonald's going to go in there and assassinate.
And he pretty much did.
And it's no disrespect to BJ Penn. Don't get me wrong. I was a BJ Penn fan to begin with. I always loved BJ Penn. It's just people just need to really realize that, the era's gone. These fighters, Shogun, BJ, it's done. You need to start looking at these young kids. I mean, Rory McDonald entered the UFC at 19 years old. He's 23 right now. And look at him, dude. Before even BJ Penn, he was dominating his division. He's the next big thing, and he pretty much showed it.
Yeah, I picked BJ to win this fight, and I had no idea that it was going to be this one-sided.
Again, I don't want to sound like I'm saying I'm a genius, whatever.
Tune his own flute or tune his own horn.
But I said Rory McDonald was going to go in there and kill BJ Penn, and guess what? He went in there. He killed BJ Penn.
It was very odd because you never see anybody really toy with BJ before. This is what he was doing for the whole fight, right? Just toying with him.
Yeah, it was actually pretty bizarre and confusing. Rory McDonald could have finished him, didn't want to finish him when he kept fighting. He just wanted to. He said, "Hey, I signed up for 3 rounds. I'm gonna fight 3 rounds." It was pretty much like I'm gonna get my full workout done today and move on.
Yeah, I agree with you about Rory McDonald and him being like the next level of MMA fighter, but do you think it almost would have benefited him more just to finish BJ Penn off? I mean, like, if he could have finished him, why didn't he finish him? I know he said that he was kind of picking his spots and didn't want to do an amateur move, but, like, Rory McDonald's way above the talent level of an amateur.
Is a perfect introduction to Cedar Theory number 3.
Number 3.
Here it goes. Everybody, this is what I think. Rory McDonald actually did the best thing he could have done, because this is what we were talking about earlier. This gives him personality. Look at him. He's now going to be known as the guy that I'll finish when I want to finish. I'll do what I want when I want. And that's how you sell tickets.
So this is pretty much a guy who's going to be toying with fighters every now and
yeah.
From now on?
Yeah. Come on. Anybody can get knocked out.
You know, it's very odd. If you guys saw the press conference, the post-fight press conference, he was like the only one really wearing a suit and tie, real just kind of demeanored and like just
kept his answers very simple, to the point.
His hair was really slicked back. Almost looked like a Christian Bale in American Psycho.
That's exactly
Patrick
what
Bateman.
it reminds me of.
So I don't with the Canadian Psycho, Rory McDonald now, maybe? Is that how we're going to refer to him now?
Yeah.
So he called out Carlos Condit after the fight. So is that a natural? I mean, he lost to him, obviously.
Well, now we have some interesting stuff developing. I mean, Josh Koscheck called out Rory McDonald, and then Rory McDonald called out Condit. I don't care which fight he takes, it's going to be the same result. Going to come in there, assassinate, and then...
what about Johny Hendricks? He's now left on the sidelines thanks to Nick Diaz and Dana White.
I actually not want to see that matchup.
For what? Are you because you're a Rory McDonald fan? Is that why?
I'm a Johny Hendricks and a Rory McDonald fan, but I don't want to see that fight just yet.
So you want them to kind of squander away until Nick Diaz gets his title shot? And
No, I want to see some Johny Hendricks knockouts, some assassinations for Rory McDonald, and then maybe we can match them up together.
it really seems like maybe these two are kind of destined to fight each other almost, really. I mean,
Well, it'll be the smart thing to do, but I doubt that's what's going to end up happening. I mean, again, who has a bigger name, Johny Hendricks or Josh Koscheck, even though Hendricks beat Koscheck?
yeah, it's just, again, it's fighters calling out fighters, man. I hate it. It's like fight, and then like it's just kind of like schoolyard stuff, man. I could beat you up any day. I'm not a big fan of it at all.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to the co-main event and the main event.
5 Round MMA is brought to you by True Athlete Training Systems. Check out all the info you need at trueathletes.com. Make sure to like us on Facebook under 5 Round MMA and follow us on Twitter at 5 Round MMA. And always check out the website, 5roundmma.com.
All right, we are back now to go on and talk about the last two fights. The last two fights. Co-main event last night was Alexander Gustafsson against Mauricio Shogun Hua.
Don't you mean no show?
No, actually, Shogun did show up for an ass whooping last night. It was like
He
another,
sure did.
yeah, another passing of the torch fight type of thing, right? Gustafsson up and comer, Shogun, the old guy. Well, not the old guy, but the last era of MMA.
And just to show that I was 100% right, not only did I get this fight right, it happened exactly the way I said was going to happen. Alexander and stuff picked him apart in the stand-up. He got a little bit sloppy. He almost got caught a couple of times, but it was not really a threat. But it was pretty much, hi, Mauricio, let me whoop your ass, and let me call out John Bone Jones.
Yeah, if anything I learned from last night was that Shogun's not the Shogun of old anymore. I mean,
all these fighters,
yeah.
though. A lot of people are giving me hype about Rampage, Jackson, Glover Teixeira. Let's keep it serious. That era is dead. Rampage is done. Shogun is done. BJ Penn is done.
Matt Hughes is gone.
Matt Hughes is done. They're done. It's Glover Teixeira. Matter of fact, I feel sorry for Rampage. He's funny. He's cool. But he's going to get his bricks knocked out.
One thing I found interesting last night was that although Gustafsson did put an ass whooping on Shogun, he didn't look crisp enough and clean enough for me to believe that he'd really pose a threat to John Jones.
He put himself up there in the top 5, but to call John Bone Jones out, his techniques were still sloppy. He was all over the place. He wasn't as dominant as he could have been because John Bone Jones was dominant as he could have been against Shogun. So
yeah, I mean, that fight was.
Again, I don't even know why we talk about John Bone Jones. It always makes me mad we even bring it up. Chael Sonnen is gonna put John Bone Jones on his back, and he's gonna ground and pound him.
Yeah, but it makes you almost because you know how lanky and tall Gustafsson is. Maybe he's just not like smooth of a fighter. Maybe we have to get used to this kind of jerky motion from him. Maybe he's not going to be the prettiest to look at, but maybe get the job done.
Are you calling him Keith Jardine 2.0?
Maybe. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Keith Jardine is not.
That's a shout out to our friend Eric.
But I mean, it just really is last time was almost like a bygone era, really. Shogun, BJ Penn.
What do you think? Retirement, or they give him 2 more fights, or he becomes Forrest Griffin?
No, I think Shogun Griffin 3 actually.
Wow.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, Forrest just dropped out of his fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the timing might be perfect.
I mean, that's all. It's like the older division now.
They should just make the
Hall of Fame division.
the Hall of Fame division. Matt Hughes will return.
Matt Hughes against Royce Gracie too.
All right, let's go to the main event. Smooth Henderson defeats Nate Diaz. Unanimous decision. What do you think?
What do I think? I think Nate Diaz bit off a lot more than he could chew.
Whoa. Before we get to the fight, did anybody see the ending? He took a toothpick out of his mouth.
Who did?
Benson Henderson.
I didn't catch that, did he?
Yeah, the fight ended, took out a toothpick right out of his mouth.
Was he fighting the toothpick the whole fight? Wow.
But if I'll be worried if I was Benson Henderson because that could have been used as a weapon.
Actually, if I were Benson Henderson, I'd watch his back now. All them Stockton boys going after him now, right?
Yeah.
According to Nate Diaz, you got to give him Melendez after him. Who knows?
Gil Menendez going to
Jake
beat him.
Shields after him. I mean, just ask Mayhem Miller what happened to him if you mess with Stockton boys. He get jumped in the octagon. But But yeah, I said last time that the last thing Diaz should do is kind of taunt and flip off Henderson, and that's the first thing he did.
Nate Diaz learned the hard way. I think he flipped him off. Benson let him up and then put him back down to the floor.
I mean, that's just one guy you don't do that to. I mean, you could get away with it with some guys, but Smooth Henderson is not a guy you toy with, because he will toy with you and he will be successful in that.
Yeah, we have to see a lot of fights at 155 before I can even question someone can compete with Ben Henderson. I think he's going to stay there for a good solid year before someone comes up from 155 and we can actually start debating.
I mean, people probably say like Jose Aldo, but I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure either way, Benson Henderson will dwarf Jose Aldo.
Yeah, he's a big 155. I mean, people say he looks like a natural welterweight. When he cuts weight, he looks like a welterweight.
I think people should really get used to the idea of the Benson Smooth Henderson era, really, in 155. Post conference, Nate Diaz had mentioned that it was a punch to the eye that had altered his game.
Yeah, that he got hit early. He started seeing blurry, and he thought he can recover from that. And when he was going to recover from that, he was going to go back and.
So basically, he was complaining about being hit in the eye in a fight.
Yeah. I guess he wasn't.
Did he not train?
Yeah, he wasn't training to get punched in the face. So that wasn't
Is that the whole Cesar Gracie thing?
Yeah.
I'll train you until you get hit in the face. After you get hit in the face, you're on your own, guys. I'm sorry.
It's almost as good as Frankie Edgar saying, well, after he kicked me in the face, I was winning the fight.
Josh Koscheck and GSP. I was good until you punched me in the eye. After that, it was all downhill from there. Well, that's the whole point. It's a fight. You're supposed to get punched in the face, and you're supposed to recover.
I'm pretty sure Catman said he was doing fine before
Johny Hendricks
clipped him in the face.
I mean, like, I think, again, Diaz bit off more than he can chew, and it just proved that Benson Henderson is on a completely different level from all these other lightweights, I think.
Who's Benson Henderson fighting next?
Oh, that's the tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, I honestly think it's going to be Gilbert Melendez. Is he on the Strikeforce card?
I think he got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah, he got out of it, so I think it's going to actually match up pretty good for Benson Henderson versus Gilbert Melendez to unify the Strikeforce and UFC belt.
So are you even like considering Jose Aldo at all, maybe?
No, because he still has to fight Frankie Edgar. And by the time he fights him and then he recovers everything, I think he'll set up for the winner out of Gilbert and Benson versus Jose Aldo.
Yeah, I mean.
No, it's going to get interesting, but I still don't see Benson Henderson. I mean, I'm
trying to think of any fighter I could, like, off the top of my head who's really.
The only way I'll take even though Jose Aldo's amazing, the only way I'll see him being a real competitor if he's, like, demolishes Frankie Edgar. He has to, like, kill the kid. Because even Benson Henderson couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's really hard to judge a person's performance off of Frankie Edgar because that guy doesn't go down at all. It's like, oh, you couldn't finish Frankie Edgar. Well, get in line. Nobody can. So, I mean,
that's true. Good point.
Yeah, but I think people's King Smooth Henderson. I call him now King of the lightweights. What do you think, Albert?
I think he's the king.
All right, guys.
All right, next week. We're actually going to try to get a special guest in here. I don't want to give away any names. I don't want to drop any names because I actually want you guys to listen. He's been, let's just say, in the MMA game for a long time. And we'll try to get him on the phone or see if he can come down and give us his thoughts.
This guy has a completely different viewpoint from us. So if you hate everything we're saying, you should enjoy this guy.
You'll love him. So with that said, please follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter.
No, other way around.
Oh, the other way around.
Okay. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, right? Is that what you said? I think you said like us on Twitter and follow us on Facebook.
No, follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter.
I think you're supposed to follow somebody on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
No, we can still go with this.
Yeah, we can go with it. So like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and always check out the website, 5roundmma.com. And shout out to our producer, Guillermo Cita, our executive producer,
Anthony Sariana,
our sound engineer.
They call him Ollie the Trolley.
They call him Ollie the Trolley. For reasons unknown, I don't even know why they call him Ollie the Trolley. I know this guy since high school, so I don't know.
See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Luke.